Good morning, everybody in Facebook land. This is Linda Kame from Lionheart Canine, located in central area of Maryland on the east coast of the United States. For those of you who live here, you know where that is. For those of you who don't, now you do. So I get up this morning, and the very first thing I see is this. Let's see. Um, Here we go. I get a notification from a member of an organization that I belong to, the National Association of Dog Obedience Instructors, that this happened. So there is an individual who, there we go. Let's start from the beginning. Police investigation underway after a dog dies at the Garland Boarding and Training Facility. Now, Garland is located in Texas, and right now it's June, and it's very hot in Texas. And you can pretty well imagine what happened. A dog owner is heartbroken after he said his puppy died while under the care of a quote, end quote, professional trainer. Okay, so I kind of have a problem with that because professional trainers don't do that shit. Okay, this is an ongoing problem, and this is something that really causes me consternation because I've been doing this. This is something that's actually documented through my tax returns and every location that I've ever trained out of. I've been doing this for 44 years. I've been doing boarding and training on dogs for as long as I can remember. I cannot, for the life of me, understand how something like this can happen. This dog basically was, it's heat stroke. She died of heat stroke. The owner ordered a necropsy. It was found that died from heat stroke and severe dehydration. It doesn't take long in climates where it's super, super hot. These dogs are housed outdoors, and why someone would have a dog in this day and age outdoors on hard concrete without water or without access to water is beyond me. Puppies have a tendency to dehydrate faster than adult dogs do, just by nature of the fact that they're puppies, and they don't have a lot of endurance as far as that goes. And it doesn't matter what age the dog was. What matters is that this dog was allowed to die in someone else's care. The owner, and I have not played the video where they actually speak to the owner. I prefer to do this, with using pictures because I don't want to put anybody on blast. But if you look carefully, there's the name of the people, or there's the name of the kennel. And they do have a Facebook presence, and they do have a website. And for two dogs, this is what this gentleman said cost him, $15,000. Now, that's insane. I'm not the cheapest dog trainer on the face of the planet. As a matter of fact, I'm fairly expensive, especially when it comes to boarding and training. The dogs were there for 40 days, and apparently he received a call from the owner of Professional Canines. Now, the owner is, oops, wrong one. That's not, oops, there we go. Where is it? I can't find it now. All right, so basically, yeah, if you go to their website, which is Professional Canines, canines.com, and you go down to their learning, you talk about the trainer information, right? This is the individual. Now, she looks to be probably in her late 20s, where she's acquired her information, or where she's acquired her quote unquote training. I don't know. There's a strong military or paramilitary presence all over this page, which is the usual trope of people who want to be somebody in this industry. They automatically put themselves out there as being a bite sport or a police dog or military dog trainer, which could very well be. But if you look at the CV, there's not a lot that says anything to that regard. There's a lot of stuff that talks about confidentiality and professionalism, only permitting a handful of canines at a time in her board and train program, keeps the operation safer, healthier, more specialized, and overall more capable than several hundred kennel businesses. Well, no. And here we are. So I see a lot of arble garble, a lot of mouthful glurge that basically says absolutely nothing about this individual, only about what she's projecting. Now, and again, I'm not picking on this person. I'm picking on the industry as a whole, because this seems to be something that basically affects this industry, this trade. Is a lot of people who have, they have good intentions. They've trained a dog or two. They think they know something, and they put themselves in business. Boarding and training is probably one of the easiest outs for a emerging trainer to be able to make money. And as one of my colleagues in the National Association of Dog Obedience Instructors pointed out, if you have a problem with people, boarding and training people seem to think that boarding and training a client's dog is a way to exempt themselves from having to work with people. It doesn't work that way. You still have to work with people, because even as good of a job as you might do with that dog, you still have to be able to transfer those skills, which means that in a form, you need to absolutely communicate what you have done to that dog satisfactorily to the owner, so that they can continue to duplicate that process moving forward. That's not something that I see frequently. I personally do board and trains. I don't do a lot of them. I prefer to do young dogs. I will not take problem dogs, because my dogs, my client dogs, my guest dogs actually live in my home. So they're not in a kennel. They're not in a garage. They're not on concrete out in the hot sun in Garland, Texas. They're basically in an air-conditioned, climate-controlled location. In most people's homes, this room is called a dining room. In my home, it's called a dog room. We have a kennel license, which is one of the things that people really need to start paying close attention to. There's all kinds of zoning in every municipality in this country. There's all kinds of zoning that tells you whether or not a business is capable of operating from their home. And the reason I say this is because the organization that I belong to, the IACP, which is the International Association of Canine Professionals, the American Kennel Club, some fairly big, heavy hitters are actually very, very entangled in legislation that is occurring all over this country that is designed to regulate what dog trainers do. And this is the reason why. Bad actors like this are the reason why. Now, and the thing is basically, it's like, this could very well be a one-off for this individual. I don't know. I don't know enough about them. I don't know enough about their training, but I'm looking at this website and I'm kind of going, yeah, when you come up with language that says this person prides themselves on building the foundation of their business upon transparency, but yet a dog died and another one went home very ill. This approach allows the client relationship to foster honesty and integrity. In return, this person may deliver absolutely in absence of mistaken or unmet requests. What the hell does that even mean? It's a bunch of glurge. It means absolutely nothing. And further research of this person's website, you scroll down, basically, when you click on board and train, which obviously is the product that they're selling the most of, it's the price is all inclusive, talks about all of their stuff, but doesn't show a lot of imagery. Health first. How can you expect someone to be comfortable enough to learn if their basic needs aren't met? Well, I don't know. You tell me. 40 days in and we have a dead dog. So, necropsy reveals what this dog died of, right? So this is something that I struggle with. This is something that I absolutely have a problem with. I don't know. I just don't know. So I have a sneaking suspicion that, and again, I don't know this person. I don't know how they train. I do know that this is starting to happen routinely across the trade, and I kind of have a problem with it. So, and the reason that I have a problem with it is, stop screen. What are you talking about? I don't know what that is. I'm struggling with this software because I'm an idiot and I don't really know what I'm doing. That's not entirely true. So basically, okay, here we go. I go back to that police, going back to sharing. So I want to share the person's website or some of the language that's on this person's website, and because I think it's important for people to see, and I don't exactly know what the problem is. All right, so I don't know. Let's try it this way. All right, let's remove that. And let's go to here. It's too early in the morning for this. There we go. Okay. So, and this is a page on this individual's website, professionalcanines.com. And these are the things that they talk about, right? So that's great. These are all wonderful things. So when you click on the facts, make sure I'm at the right place. Yeah, when you click on the facts, how do we get started? Cancellation policy, what to bring, vaccination and neutered policy, location. Okay. Specific address will be released upon scheduling and signing required forms to schedule. Address is not published to protect animals and persons involved, as well as to prevent walk-ins. I agree with that 100%. But what should be in that location, what is conspicuously absent in the vast majority of cases when cruelty is suspected, animals have been injured, is I see absolutely no indication whatsoever that this person or that this facility is licensed, appropriately zoned, or appropriately insured. I don't care about anything else. I care about that because a person who cares about that is not going to be killing your dog, right? So, and then again, board and trainer sessions. If you would like the best, fastest results, board and trainer is right for you. This is not a lie. But the thing is you have to be careful of a couple of things when you're talking in terms of boarding and training. One, is it something that you really need? Why are you choosing to do a board and train? A valid option would be because you don't have sufficient time in order to be able to conduct the training yourselves. Or you're planning a trip where the boarding and training is going to help augment training you've already done or start training you want to do. It is not a one-stop shop, okay? You cannot get a dog completely trained and reliable off leash in 2 or 3 weeks or however long some of these boarding and training programs run for. And these are high dollar commitments, right? Owners expect that these dogs go back trained, and they don't. Even when we take board and trains, at the very front end of any commitment I agree to with a potential client, training must continue after the dog goes home. Training, it commences while the dog is in training with us and continues for as long as the owner needs after the dog leaves. This isn't me trying to sell boarding and training, because I'll be honest with you, I've been doing this for 44 years. I would really like for other owners' dogs to not be in my house. My son is grown and gone. He's 25. He'll be 26 in a couple of months. He has never known a time in his life where we did not have someone else's animals to take care of in our home. That's 26 years of his life, right? So, and it's probably one of the reasons why he barely comes over is because we have so many freaking dogs here all the time. But basically, again, I'm appropriately licensed. I am licensed by the community in which I reside for up to 12 dogs to reside in my home. Okay. I have a commercial license. I pay for it. I get inspected every year. And I have insurance. I carry $5 million worth of liability insurance in case something should happen to a client's dog, something should happen to a client, something should happen to personal property, so that I don't get sued because of something a dog in my care did. Okay. That costs me thousands of dollars a year. This isn't a joke. This isn't playing with cute puppies. This is basically taking the commitment or making the commitment to take care of someone else's animal during the duration of its stay with you. This is something that should be considered, right? So when you're talking about planning on a boarding and train with the trainer, do yourself a favor and do some research. Travel to the facility if the trainer will permit it. At least, look online. And I mean, if it's a matter of insisting, then basically the trainer should allow you opportunities to view exactly where the dog is going to be staying. I have no problem with that. I really don't. I personally prefer private training where the owner works with a trainer one-on-one, because that not only does it yield the best results, but for the most part, it prepares the owner for any eventuality in the future. And that way the owner is more than capable of handling those problems on their own. But the thing is the primary concern, and this is the one thing that is completely lacking in the industry, is the standards for this. Professional conduct dictates that you basically meet the basic tenets of professional operation. You have zoning, you have appropriate licensing and permit in order to be able to operate from whatever your facility is, whether it's in your home, whether it's wherever, it doesn't matter. Do you have licensing? Do you have zoning? Do you have insurance to cover things like this? Right. So that's the thing. And again, so once we've covered that, if you have those things, the likelihood is that something's going to happen to your dog is pretty nominal, because people have reputations to protect. Right. And it's like, knock on wood, thank God, we have not had an incident in all the years that we've been operational. I currently have 2 dogs in my home. One is a show dog. We have to maintain him in coat. I would be horrified if that animal went home in worse condition than he came. Absolutely horrified. We have another young dog here that came to us as a puppy for being put on a time schedule of elimination. And basically what that does is it simply enables the owner to be able to housebreak the dog a little faster, because we were the ones that were getting up at 2 and 4:30 in the morning to make sure the puppy went out to go to the bathroom so it wouldn't soil its crate. These are the sacrifices we make, and these are the things that we do because we choose to do so. When owners are looking for a boarding and training program, they need to be looking at these things, these basic tenets of professional conduct. If they're not present, don't hire that person, right? It's that simple. It really is that simple. And the thing is for the most part, dogs who do private training aren't getting injured by quote unquote trainers. And I say quote unquote trainers because I don't know what this person's affiliations are. I don't know what this person's training is. They look to be fairly young. As you can see, this is not fairly young. I've been doing this a long time, and I'm tired of seeing this stuff. I see it frequently enough for there to be legislation being written in some of the larger communities in the United States, New Jersey, Chicago, Illinois, California, that will regulate who can train dogs and how, right? So it's a concern. It's an absolute concern. I have a serious commitment to helping state legislators draft legislation that is meaningful. But when stuff like this continues to happen, it makes it harder for me to do my job, which is to protect your job as a professional trainer. And you're not doing me any favors, because you're not doing yourself any favors. And this is heartbreaking. This man's dog died, D-E-D, dead, right? Because someone didn't care enough about that individual to see to its needs adequately, right? So, I got problems. And essentially it's like if you notice, I will refrain from talking about the type of training this person uses. I don't particularly care exactly what methodology that they use. I am curious about the one solution training. The service includes an immediate solution to your problem. Okay, so, and again, I'm kind of at a loss, because the language for the most part is dictating, or is dedicated to, I apologize. The language is dedicated to driving or funneling the individual into a board and train program. Okay, that's fine. So it makes it easier for you to be able to, for the trainer to be able to do the training. It's less pressure, so on and so forth. But it's a lot of pressure for the dog, I have to tell you. The dog here that I was just talking about, that we have, is a young adult, intact male of a herding breed. He's here for training because he's a bit of an idiot, and he's kind of a little spoiled. He's a spoiled little lad, which, they are. He's a show dog. He has a profuse coat. We have to maintain his coat. He's been here since Monday. It's now Friday. He just decided that he liked us and trusted us well enough to be able to consume a whole meal without thinking that he was going to be victimized in some way. And it's not that he is, he's not damaged good. He's got a lovely temperament. He's just a bit of an adolescent male who thinks that he's entitled to do whatever the heck he wants. Well, he ain't. But what's happened is once he's come into this new environment, he's a year and a half old. He's come here. He hasn't settled in because he's having to live with 3 other dogs. He basically is kind of concerned about the environment because for 18 months, he was raised elsewhere. He was raised in the lap of luxury. He had his 1-dog companion. He had his owners. He was able to and entitled to live a certain lifestyle. He came here and he's like, yeah, this ain't for me. Well, guess what, dude? For the next couple of weeks, it is, because we need to get you to understand that when your owner talks, you need to listen. These are busy people. They're business owners. They have, very active lifestyles. And it's not work that they can do, but it's work that they want to have done. And we have a relationship. I've worked with these people in the past with a previous dog of theirs that they still own, who is now a senior. And basically, it's just a matter of having done the right thing the first time, which draws these people back, right? We care about these animals. So therefore, we care for these animals. And when it comes to a board and train, you have to be sure that the individual that you're sending your dog to live with for however many weeks is basically capable of being able to do these things for you in your absence. If you don't trust them, don't send them. If you like their training, do private training instead. I really, really advocate for people to do private training instead of board and training. I would like nothing more than for people to understand that. But again, I do board and train. So I'm not slagging on people who do board and trains. I'm slagging on people who do board and trains badly. And this is a case of someone doing board and train badly. This is press that the industry does not need. This is an individual who, I know an individual who basically had a dog killed in a state south of me, and now has set up shop in another state thinking that anonymity is going to protect them. It's not. But the thing is, though, is what matters is the people that don't know won't ever know unless they do their research, right? So this is an individual whose name is going to be marred forever because of this. This is an individual whose reputation is going to be marred forever because of this. Whether they, continue to stay within the industry and continue to do the work within the industry is yet to be foreseen. That's not up to me. But in a perfect world, this is an individual that would not be able to train dogs in the future. I know that Texas has a whole lot of cruelty laws. I think that they should be pursued because this was entirely avoidable. There's absolutely no reason that this dog needed to die. I have been tasked with doing a lot of things in my life. You can expect to hear more commentary on this. And just by virtue of the fact that I think that it's really, really important for people to understand and to make a decision when it comes to boarding and training. All the flash on the face of the planet does not make a person a good dog trainer. A huge social presence does not make a person a good dog trainer. Okay. If it's like I'm an old lady. I've been around the track a few times. I have a social media presence. I also have a large body of work that is actually published in motion. I write prolifically. I have a blog. I have a presence on all of the major social media sites. And I have a YouTube channel that has a whole history of YouTube videos that date back to 2007 or 2008, something like that. So there's an evolution, right? There's over 1,000 videos there. Some are published, some are unpublished because... and I just got called. I got hoisted by my own petard on this. I had a client that I took for granted that I was able to document the training, and I published it without her permission. And she ordered me to take it down, and I did. So again, the thing is for the most part, well, not 100% of all the things that I have public now, I have owner permission on. But there are times when people don't want that. And I have to respect that. So there's going to be things that I cannot share because of the person's desire to stay anonymous. That's perfectly fine. But there's enough of a body of work out there, or should be enough of a body of work out there. When we have people coming from great distances to train with us, they've seen that. That's what brings them. Okay. This is a guy who lived in the same community as this individual, sent his dog to a local trainer that charged him an arm and a leg to kill his dog. What's wrong with this picture? You have to ask yourself, what is wrong with this picture? And I have concerns. I absolutely have concerns. This is an individual who basically I'm going through here. This individual went out this morning, the day that this guy got the call from the owner of this business and to check on the dogs, and found her unresponsive. That takes some time. That takes some time. That dog died needlessly. There's absolutely no reason. So he, I feel bad for this guy. I mean, it's heart crushing when you lose an animal under, and there's no good circumstances, right? It's heart crushing when you lose an animal to illness or whatever. But basically, it's really, really unfortunate that something like this had to happen. This dog didn't need to die. Dogs like this don't need to die. There's absolutely no reason on the face of the planet that any dog should die in somebody else's care. And this isn't just boarding and training environments. This is dog daycares. This is grooming, these unregulated industries. And I've warned people before, and I'm going to warn them now. If we're not part of the solution, we are part of the problem. And if you have concerns with who's going to be writing this legislation, you need to get on board with what's happening, because it's people like this that wrecks it for people like me. And I got news for you. When the law gets done with you, I'm coming for you next.